Hello folks, and welcome to another video. I hope this one finds you fighting fit and enjoying the content that you happen to be consuming on YouTube. As I film this one, the last video that I put out onto the tube is, well, it's on track to being one of the most disliked videos I've ever made. And let me tell you, I've made some disliked videos, folks. So, cheers for that. It actually, no problem whatsoever, genuinely. Folks, if I was in this for the likes, well, I'd probably make different videos. So, like, dislike, has no bearing whatsoever on the videos I make, folks. Do appreciate, what you hope that some people enjoy some of what you do some of the time, but if you don't, go somewhere else. That's simple, folks. I've got something a little different for you today. Well, it's a tribute video is really what it is. That's the motivation, the main motivation here. Paying tribute to a member of my family that departed from the land of the living almost exactly a year ago to the day. This is for him, and I thought I'd kind of pay tribute to him flying an aeroplane that I enjoy flying, the one on your screen. This is the analog King Air, resplendent in the, I don't know what this livery is called. It looks like someone's given the work experience kid a bunch of spray cans and said, fill your boots, son. Interesting livery. It's based on a real livery. I've checked. Interesting, isn't it? So we're paying tribute. We're also flying a route that I haven't flown for about 5 or 6 years, and it was one of my go-to routes. Really enjoyed flying. It's short, does the job, presents a nice little challenge, particularly in poor weather, and allows me to reconnect with some IRL experiences that remain as strong today as they were when they were actually happening, which says to me that they had some meaning. So that's kind of what we're doing. And on top of that, we're going to give Georgie the day off. So no autopilot on this flight. It's all hand flying, for better or worse. Danger is my middle name. Let me show you the flight plan, folks. And here we are in Little Navmat. One of my absolute go-to routes is probably the most popular route that I've flown in my simulation career, going back to day dot. Skagway to Juneau. 70 miles or so, well 75, based on the flight plan we've got plugged in here. It is often helpful to pick some waypoints that are sort of out over the water. It's what I find, because we're going to be doing this at low level, or relatively low level, 3.5 VFR. The conditions are VFR today, which makes for a nice change. They're often IFR, particularly in the northern winter up here. So beautiful Skagway, Alaska. I can say that I've had the pleasure of visiting and enjoying Skagway's charms IRL. We're going to depart runway 20 Skagway, so heading out over the water. Regardless of what the prevailing conditions are, we're going off of 20. And then we're heading down towards the waypoint of Fedme, and then along the Chilkoot Inlet, planning to remain over water at least, down through Zane, Cowie, then down the Favourite Channel. I love that name, the Favourite Channel, towards Fenham before we'll turn for home, which should line us up really nicely with runway 08. We're going to land 08 at Juneau regardless of what the prevailing conditions are. It's a throwback to all of my experiences in the past, which is bugger it. We're landing on the most efficient runway. We're taking off on the runway that points us in the right direction, and we're going to land in the runway that means that I don't have to turn around. So that's what we're doing. We're Skagway to Juneau. We're in the analog King Air, and we're doing it for a very special member of my family who's, well, he's somewhere else. Only he knows where he is. Let's go flying, folks. And if you haven't guessed already, folks, this is the special member of the family of whom I speak. This is King, or Virtual King. Now, I did a tribute to him not long after his passing last year. I think we flew the Arrow Kingy from memory. Flew you home, mate. Yeah, almost a year of the day since he departed. A day that I remember all too well. A difficult day to remember in some respects, without a doubt. But this video, not so much about that day. This video is about his life, remembering all of the good times, all of the fun, the frivolity, the stubbornness, the challenge, the noise, and ultimately the love that was embodied in this animal called King. So that's what I'm going to remember today, remembering Kingy. And we're flying the Kingy. So Kingy's flying the Kingy on a route that, well, had some special meaning to me, as did this dog. Folks, what I'll do is get us started. And I thought just another point of difference on this flight. I'm going to make this a single shot video, basically from the moment of takeoff to the moment of touchdown. It's just going to be a continuous shot. So normally I cut away and I'll pause and whatever. And particularly considering the last video, I forgot to hit record for the approach segment. So I thought I'd just leave the record button depressed and just film it in a single shot. So you'll get it from takeoff to touchdown, hand flying the whole way. I'll share some thoughts on Kingy along the way, and we'll end up in Juneau in about half an hour's time. Sound all right? I'll see you on the runway. And welcome to runway 20 here at Skagway. A light dusting of the white stuff on the runway. The prevailing wind is suiting a departure off 20. Didn't really have to, I was going to do it anyway, but it helps. We'll go altitude reporting from here. Flight plan is in, as we talked about before. Zedam, Fedme, Zane, Cowie, Phenom, Juno. We are done. We've got that also over on the right hand side. 3,500 feet is our planned altitude. That will have us below the top of the hills, but I kind of like that. It's very atmospheric. It's very immersive. It's a little bit dangerous as well, particularly in bad weather. Before we had these fancy GTN things, this was more, getting to Juneau was more luck than skill back in the day. Local barrow set, we've got flap set, we've got trim set. Yeah, just confirming that. Everything's good to go, I think. We'll get landing lights on. Strobies can come on. That one can come off. Kingy, you good, champ? This is for you, mate. Hey? Let's do it. Hi, Idle. Bringing in some juicies. Talking it up. A little bit more talk. There we go. All good. Got to check our T's and P's and all that shit. Everything's in the green. Staying in the green. We're good. Up through 80, almost through 100 now. We'll rotate around about here. Let's go, Kingy. Oh, piece of piss, mate. Brings back memories. The cruise ships, when you dock in Skagway, are sort of down in that direction there. Get flaps coming up. Nice early left-hand turn out over the water, although it's difficult to see much water here. We're iced in. We're March. How realistic is that? If you're a local and you choose to comment, I'd love to hear from you. Suggest that it's probably not too realistic. But anyway, we are away up through 800. Just checking our ITT is good. We'll bring the props back a tad. Torque's good. Keep everything in the green. Up through about 750 on the ITT. That's good. Climbing away nicely. We can make this a fairly high speed sort of climb, I think. I only need to get up to 3.5. Oh, it brings back memories. That's for sure. Now, Kingy, yeah, he was a golden retriever. As I think this guy looks more like a Labrador than a golden retriever. We might call him a Labrador retriever. How's that here in the sim? But Kingy was a purebred golden retriever. His family bloodline came out of the UK and then out of Kiwiland. He was a Kiwi dog at heart. That's where his family was anyway. And yeah, came into our lives in 2011. Kingy arrived on my doorstep, held by the flying mum, who'd always wanted a golden retriever, and well, she certainly got her a bit of value in having Kingy. He was quite a package. Altitude alert. Got to actually concentrate a little bit on the flying here. Just lower that rate of getting rid of that flight director. It's annoying me because I can't meet what it's telling me to do, what it wants me to do anyway. Yeah, he was quite a package. Retrievers, I know, are very friendly, very social dogs, and he certainly was that to most people. He was one of the best judges of character that I think I've ever had the pleasure of having alongside me. Generally a very friendly dog. It was in his nature, but he had a way of identifying when someone wasn't worth being friendly to, if I can put it that way, as we make the turn towards Zane. Beautiful day here, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Light breeze. Yeah, really, really nice. I'll have to do some trimming stuff here shortly to maintain our planned altitude of 3.5. No, excellent judge of character. We had a few, I'll give you an example, we had a few tradespeople come through the house over the years. And Kingy was generally welcoming of them. He'd certainly give you the benefit of the doubt to start with, but and most tradespeople are dog people, I found anyway, but there was a few that weren't. There's a few that Kingy kind of, as we just level out here at 3.5, there's a few that Kingy picked up on it pretty quickly, far quicker than I did, for example, and he'd sort of give them the fair bit of side eye. You could tell he had a thing he used to do with his eyebrows, which is sort of his way of saying, I'm not quite sure, I don't think I agree, or I'm not as trusting as you are, old man. Just, give it time. I'm not sure this guy's on the level. And he was never wrong, Kingy. The ones that he gave the eyebrow treatment to were always a bit dodgy. You do find some dodgy like some weird ass tradespeople, conspiracy theorists and bloody Trump supporters, and of course you've got them in your house, and you kind of need them to finish the job, and you're having to listen to all of their friggin' garbage, just imported from bloody Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and whatever other bloody propaganda they've been listening to, and you'd get them, bloody connecting some pipes or fixing a dunny or installing a fan or whatever it was, building a wall, and you'd have to, you'd say, can you just finish that and just lay off the bullshit conspiracy shit, particularly during sort of just coming out of the COVID, the main pandemic time. And Kingy was front and centre for all of that, and he had a very low tolerance. We're doing all right here, Kingy. 3.5. We're maintaining an altitude pretty accurately. An old instructor of mine would be pretty well. No, he wouldn't. Unless you were within like 10 feet of the planned altitude, he wasn't happy. But I'm doing all right here. We're getting along at 240 knots, so this is beautiful. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for you, King Innit, hey? Enjoying this, mate? Would love to have done this with you in real life. Oh, mate. But you had a pretty good life anyway, and we as a family had a pretty good life with you in it. But Very stubborn animal, as some dogs are wont to be. Easy to train. Kingy was well trained. He went through puppy preschool and all that sort of stuff, and he was actually kind of like the example dog, you know. The trainer would get him up and say, hey, this is what your dog should be doing, this is how to train, because retrievers are some of the easiest dogs to train. So he knew what he had to do, and he could be trained, but if he had it in his mind that he didn't want to do something, he wasn't going to do it, you know. And many moments chasing him around and giving him a bit of stick for what he wasn't doing, what he was doing wrong. And when he was a puppy, holy hell, you could see the trait coming through pretty early. And but it was all, look, it was all good fun, and we got used to him and he got used to us, and eventually he'd start off being quite rebellious, you know. You'd want him to come inside or whatever when it was pissing down with rain, and not only would he not come inside, he had to dig some holes and let those holes fill with water, generating a bit of mud. And that wasn't enough for him either, of course. Then he has to get his paws in there and roll around and, you know, get absolutely filthy. But he knew when he'd gone too far, and he kind of, you know, come back sheepishly inside, and, you know, he'd give his version of an apology. You couldn't be mad at him for too long because he was enjoying himself. You know, when you see an animal just in there, like just releasing their spirit, just in the moment, just enjoying themselves and having fun, it's a wonderful thing. I think a lot of dogs are kind of very tightly controlled, and then they act out in a way, and then certain people then kind of make it even harder, or react even strongly to that acting out, and it's just this cycle of, it almost becomes abuse. It does become abuse for some people. And yeah, if you're going to have an animal, whether it be a dog or anything, as a pet, as a companion, as a member of your family, that's what they are. They become more than just a pet or an animal that lives outside, or, you know, that you feed twice a day. They're a member of your family, and they deserve to be treated with respect. And whatever you show to a dog in terms of respect and love, you'll get back 10 times over. You know, and I just think a lot of people are missing out. You see people pick up animals, you know, around the holiday periods. They do it for their kids because, oh well, the kids are old enough now, they need to learn the responsibility or whatever of having a dog. Or someone's watched a movie and said, oh, I like that breed of dog, let's get one of those. And but then treat the animal as just a, I don't know, like an object, not as a true member of the family. And the humans miss out. The dogs obviously miss out, but the humans miss out on that experience. And kids, they grow up having dogs, but they don't grow up having or knowing that the love of a dog. Of course, those that do feel that love, it is devastating when it's lost. And unfortunately, most of us outlive our animals, don't we? We have to experience the grief and the loss that comes with their departure, and sometimes that involves making a very difficult decision to euthanize them in their interest, to end the suffering. And that is a very, very difficult decision to make. But yeah, today I'm choosing to remember all of the good times, all of the memorable moments that we had. Just reflecting, a lot of things are coming to mind. I won't share them all with you, basically because this flight won't last long enough. But how's the flying going, folks? Am I doing all right? 3/4. So I've lost 100 feet. I'm hearing my old crusty instructor. He's failed me by now. We've gone back to Skagway. In fact, he's flown us back to Skagway. He's so disgusted with my flying. I'm just remembering a lot of little funny moments. It's his stubbornness, Kingy's stubbornness. When one of the places we used to live at a few years back, quite a few years back now, when King was a pup, I used to take him on walks around the neighbourhood, of course. Loved to walk. He loved it for the social stuff. I don't think he liked the exercise so much. Just loved to get out and say, hey, look, I'm a golden retriever, look at me. And everyone used to, they'd love him, they'd give him a pat and, make a big fuss out of him as we turn towards our next waypoint, which will be Cowie. There was a house not too far from us that had a beautiful lawn. Like, I'm talking, Augusta National quality grass. I mean, it was just beautiful, rolled and colour. It was just perfect, right? And compared to the rest of the grass around the neighbourhood, it just stood out. And Kingy loved that bit of grass. Like, he would cross the road, he would pull you across the road just to go and walk on that grass, right? But it wasn't enough after a while for him to just walk on it. He decided he was going to plant his ass on it. He was going to sit on it and enjoy it a little bit longer. He was going to linger on this grass. And then after all, sitting on it wasn't enough. Then he'd just flop himself down and you couldn't move the bastard. He would lie on this grass. He would know when this yard was coming up, right, this is my time to have a bit of a rest. And this grass is worthy of the king's ass. That's what he did. So here we'd be, and we'd be there for 10-15 minutes, and everyone drive past just laughing. We're trying to drag this bloody big golden retriever off this bit of grass, And the guy who owned the property, he didn't have a problem with it. He'd come out laughing. It was providing entertainment for him and his family as well. But stubborn. Oh, bloody hell! Was he stubborn? But very loyal, and incredibly protective of the family and of the other dogs that were part of the family. 2 of whom remain with us to this day, and who are sitting alongside me as I say these words. Probably because I reckon they probably realise I'm talking about Kingy, and they're here to pay their respects. I normally have one of them with me. It's rare to have 2 of them right next to me. Hey? Maybe I'll be doing a tribute to you guys one day, but I hope that day is a long time in the future, because I can't handle, the old heart here can't handle another loss. Can't do it. So take that out of your minds. You're going to live forever. You're going to outlive me. Alright? You two? Got it? Hey, Kingy, make sure they outlive me, please. Anyway, folks, we are almost ready to descend. Didn't take too long. I think the flying has been acceptable. Hand flying. Nice aeroplane, this one, isn't it? Hey, Black Square are just about to release a little package that, well, to say that I'm excited about would be an understatement. Very much looking forward to their Dukes. They will absolutely feature in at least one video in the not too distant future, folks. Big fan of the Dukes, and have a strong connection with them, so can't wait. And I caught a bit of a preview video there the other day of what's ahead. Holy hell, they look fantastic, those Dukes. Black Square have taken it to a whole another level. We'll reset our barrow. We'll just come off the talkie a little bit, come off the props. We'll start out just a nice gentle descent. Looks like we've got a headwind for our arrival on 08. It's just all come together today, Kingy. Just meant to be, mate, hey? We'll zoom in on here for you. There's Fenham. Yeah, the number of times that I screamed around this corner, this was kind of the reference point for me. Once I saw that land sort of jutting out, I was like, right, I can turn for home. And there was a few times, dead set, I don't reckon I saw the surface at Juno until after I hit it. back in the day. Today's not one of those days. Absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful part of the world. Loved my, albeit too limited time in Juno. Love to return at some point. There'll be a runway down there somewhere, folks. There we go. It's been good fun. Bit of hand flying, giving Georgie the day off. Good fun. We need to come off the power a little bit more. Get ourselves slowed down here, Kingy. We're going to be a little hot, I would think. There's runway 08. Turning for home. We're 5 miles. 5 mile final. Here into Juno. Going right off at power now. Trying to get us slowed down. Under 200 or so knots would be helpful. Over this one last hill. I may have hit this hill on more than one occasion. Of course, you can always kind of just duck down the saddle here, avoiding the hill with a late turn. That's what I think the pros do, but last time I checked, I'm not pro, folks. Retrim slow to about 110. V-ref, something like that. Retrimming, Kingy. Over the hill, all about 300 feet to spare. Down the other side, I've got as low as about 150 feet. There we go. We're visual, folks. It's all good. Have faith. Right, fingers crossed. We've got our gear down, our flaps are set. Sphincter's nice and tight. Kingy, your sphincter tight. That's the way. 110 knots, there we go. Right on cue. Decision height, I think we might continue. Bring those props in. There we go. Runway 08 Juno, folks. Light tailwind by the looks of it. Into a bit of a flare. Onto the centre line. Kingy. We'll take that. Centerline pride. There we go, folks. Welcome to Juneau, Alaska. Folks, thanks for your company during the course of this flight. And thank you, of course, to my good friend Kingy. Wherever you are, mate, know that you are sorely missed, but lovingly remembered. That's for sure. Folks, until we next meet, you stay well, enjoy your simming, and if you've got a dog, go and give him a cuddle. Bye for now, folks.